I'll be playing the teacher. We have two students, Jason, Sarah, and then Calvin is Lowen, and Thatcher is Zen. Okay, so good afternoon, kids. Our history lesson of the day is about two very famous men. One being Christopher Columbus, and the second one, Woodrow Wilson. These are very important men to our country, and Christopher Columbus was a very great captain. In 1492, he discovered the New World. People doubted him when he said there was land in the West, and he sailed. And he went to the West and proved them wrong. And now he is very famous and a very dedicated man. And you got Woodrow Wilson here, the 28th president. He helped discover the League of Nations, a very great man. His face was even on the $100,000 bill. Woodrow Wilson was the president during World War I, and he was a very great man. Who is that?
Aaron Lin.
I don't care. Get out of my classroom.
And because everything he's telling you is a lie. It's also in my book available on Amazon, $17.99. Shipping your headline is not included.
Get out of my classroom.
Everything the teacher's telling you is a lie. Okay, Wilson was a racist. He hated black people.
Get out of my
Everything was just
Get out of my
everything
classroom.
that was a lie.
Get out of my class. Get out. Stay out of my. I'm a teacher. Okay, that's the end of scene one, guys. And, okay, so the second scene, this brawl right here kind of made it on national TV. Because, you know, it's a classroom brawl. So 10 years later, it makes it on the legendary show, G Money's Wednesday Night Talk Show. So I'm going to be the host, G Money, and everyone else is the same characters. I'm also a teacher. So you guys all you guys should start over there. All right. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special episode of G Money's Wednesday Night Talk Show. You can ignore this talk show. So today, according to our agenda, we have a very special topic. It's a personal issue between teacher and students, historian and teacher, and most importantly, students, historians, and textbooks. I'm sure you've all heard about the national issue that made the news 10 years ago about that huge classroom brawl. Well, so without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Macaroni, who was the teacher, to the show first. Good evening, sir. So, what's the issue here, Mr. Macaroni? One day, I was just teaching my class like any ordinary teacher. And then two men came in and attacked me. Attacked you? Did anything happen before that by chance? Well, nothing important. Okay, nothing important. Okay, we'll see what our other special guests have to say after the break. And we're back to the show. Now, I would like to invite Howard Zinn and James Lowen to the show. So would you two men please like to come? I'm glad you guys were able to make it here. So, what exactly happened in that classroom 10 years ago?
Well, we were just walking around the school and we overheard Mr. Macaroni teaching his class, and we knew that all of this information was obviously wrong. So we came in and tried to teach his students, but he didn't really like that because, I don't know, he likes to have his students look up to these people as heroes and, I don't know, fight with them.
Is that true, Mr. Macaroni? Well, I suppose so. Go on, gentlemen.
Oh, well, Columbus was not the guy that everybody thinks he is. He's actually a greedy, murderous, I don't know, was more or less the cause of the elimination of an entire civilization of people. And actually,
Do you think it'd be good if I brought the students here to hear this?
absolutely.
Okay, believe it or not, I have more special guests on this show, so I would like to invite the 2 students that were at the scene when that huge classroom brawl occurred. So will you please continue and tell these students so they know what's really happening?
Recently, there's been an interesting development in history books. To me, it seems more like propaganda than actual informative text. It's more, to me, reading a political cartoon seems more informative than this Mr. Macaroni. So let's talk about, like, the heroes we talked about. Right now, he started teaching about Columbus and Wilson. They're both bad guys. If they were really talking about heroes, they'd talk about me. Not to brag, but I worked at the Smithsonian Institute. Please, hold the applause. As I read there, with the own time I had, without anyone forcing me, I read 12 textbooks. Because I wanted to. As I read those 12 textbooks, I found that not a single one of those textbooks mentioned Wilson's involvement in the Russian Civil War, which he supported, and he supported the white side. Speaking of racist. And as he was there, he spent our money, our own tax money, to give them monetary aid without even consulting the Americans. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather have my own money here in America rather than spending it over there on those communist Russians. And so, not only did he do that, but as I read the rest of my 12 textbooks over 2 years, which I quickly read, which I'm also selling on Amazon, I found that they did mention a couple times the invasion of Mexico in 1914. But in each one of those textbooks, all they talked about was how Congress forced Wilson to invade Mexico. And let's be real, that's all BS. Wilson was the one that created this movement to attack Mexico, and we were all trying to stop him, but unfortunately these textbooks only talk about how Congress was the bad one.
These students need perfect people in their life so they can idolize them.
Perfect people in their lives, let's be real. If we wanted perfect people, we just look up to Superman or Batman. They're both better looking as well. So why do we do this? We call it heroification. We just omit all the bad things about somebody, all the negative aspects, in order to make them seem more likable or more like a hero. I don't know about you, Mr. G Money, but I think that's lying through omission.
I agree. I hope Mr. Macaroni can agree with that. So, kids, now that you know about this heroification process, is there anything you would like to say?
Okay, based off of what my teacher has taught me and what Zin and Lowen has just said, I concluded that we still have to credit Columbus for his discoveries and all our heroes for all their achievements. Because Columbus, he was very courageous for, first of all, going on this journey to the sea to explore the new lands. And without his step in history, we would not be the America we are today. But when we label these people as heroes, we create this image of a perfect human being, when really they have done some unjust things. A prime example of this would be when Columbus went to America, and he ended up taking multiple lives of the indigenous people there, and even treated them very cruelly, such as testing the sharpness of his blade on them by cutting them. And then this applies to our real life, in our everyday life too. A prime example of this one would be our parents. We always look up to them, but as we grow older, we realize that they're not as perfect as we thought. We notice the small blemishes in them.
I agree with my classmate. I don't think it's fair that students are lied to about what Christopher Columbus did or Woodrow Wilson. I think it's important that students are told the truth so that they can form their own opinions on history.
These kids don't know anything. Well, Mr. Macaroni, I'm sorry, but there we have it. In front of live TV, we have just witnessed that this heroification process is not right in schools. Kids should be taught the complete truth about these heroes if they're supposed to idolize them, and they should know everything about these heroes. So, good night everyone, and see you on the next episode of G Money's Wednesday Night Talk Show.